Hello, I'm Natasha. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the energy issues that we are currently facing in Europe and why we are in deep trouble. I really got interested in this when I was looking at some companies to invest in. One called CF Industries Holdings, which is based in the US, but it makes plant fertilizers. This company will close one of its UK fertiliser plants permanently as it struggles with high energy costs. It made me wonder how many companies are suffering due to the current sanctions war that we have against Russia. It is clear that, personally speaking, people in the UK are suffering, and everyone is noticing a large increase in their energy prices. The National Energy Action Group estimates that the number of households in fuel poverty across the UK is 6.5 million. Before Russia invaded Ukraine, the European Union was highly dependent on Russian energy resources. In 2021, EU countries imported 155 billion cubic metres of Russian gas, which accounted for about 45% of total gas imports. 2 years later, in the third quarter of 2023, this amount is down to 12%. This has mainly been compensated for by a sharp increase in imports of liquefied natural gas, LNG, particularly from the US. LNG loaded onto tankers at US ports costs nearly 4 times more. So this explains why energy prices are going up so significantly. Now let's contrast the situation in mainland Europe with that of Hungary, a country which continues to import gas and oil from Russia, and also that of Bulgaria, which has interestingly very cheap energy costs. The lowest prices for electricity were observed in Bulgaria, €0.1137 per kilowatt hour, and Hungary, €0.1161 per kilowatt hour. Having recently struck new energy deals with Russia, households in Hungary are also paying some of the lowest rates for electricity in Europe. The country imports around 90% of its oil and natural gas, much of it from Russia. In 2021, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government negotiated a 15-year contract under which Gazprom would ship 4.5 billion cubic metres of natural gas to Hungary annually via Turk Stream and Ukraine. Then, if we consider Bulgaria, their main local energy source is coal and nuclear energy, which significantly contributes to energy independence there. Over the last decade, coal has provided roughly half of the electricity in the country, and nuclear another 37%. So clearly, ideally, the best case scenario is that a country is self-sufficient for its energy needs, like Bulgaria. However, if it cannot be, then it needs to be able to source the cheapest energy that it can. Western media and politicians have not brought attention to the fact that due to the sanctions that they themselves imposed on Russia, European businesses and people are suffering significantly, meaning essentially that their countries will be unable to compete internationally due to rising costs. We are already seeing deindustrialization in a country like Germany, for instance. Manufacturing output there has been on a downward trend since 2017. There is this massive push towards renewables in the EU, but in 2022, renewable energy sources made up 41.2% of gross electricity consumption. It is my view that if we cannot meet our energy needs through renewable sources, then we need to find the cheapest option for our country. If that means talking to Russia and removing sanctions, then that is what needs to be done. I also think that Europe must consider how it can be self-sufficient going forward in the long term if it does not want to rely on Russia or any other country. I understand that leaders in Europe cannot be seen to backtrack on the sanctions that they have imposed, but clearly their approach to removing Vladimir Putin has not worked, and they need to reconsider this for the benefit of their own countries. Yes, maybe there may be a bit of uproar if sanctions were removed and negotiations with Russia started, but I am certain that people would forget about this once their costs reduced and prosperity improved.